Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've been live, and it's been even longer since me and Jake have been live together. I feel we've been kind of a little bit, I'd say, astrayed recently, haven't we? We've kind of, our timetables haven't quite matched up, but we are back ahead of game week 12, and you know what, mate? We're both doing actually quite good at FPL at the moment, so it's nice to do one of these streams together. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right, yeah. As you can see, all ready for bed, cozied up, considering I've been in work at 5:30 every morning recently. So this is my little chill out before bed kind of stream, which is lovely. What a way to end the day.
Yeah, exactly. This is
How are
this.
you?
I'm pretty good, mate. I'm pretty good. Recovered from the old tonsillitis. You know, that's no longer there. I can actually speak and operate. So that's pretty decent, mate. To be honest. Yeah.
No, it's good. To be honest, I think I've done quite well because I think I might have asked how you were once and just avoided you at all costs.
You just was like,
So it's
I'm
like you
keeping.
weren't. It's
Yeah.
like you were never ill to me.
Yeah. To be honest, mate, you just went, oh, he's ill. Oh, well, he'll get over it. He's a
I
big
think I
boy.
said, "You're right." You went, "Yeah, all right, cool. See you in a couple of
Yeah,
weeks."
we'll do a stream in a couple of weeks. It'll be fine. We'll be back, of course. We do have a poll kicking round in the chat, and it is going to be something we are going to be discussing a little bit later in today's stream. We are asking people, what are your plans with Erling Haaland? Are you selling? You're holding? You're buying? Are you unsure? We'll be doing a little bit more of a deeper dive into that one. But Jake, if I was to ask you right now, Erling Haaland over the next 6 game weeks, what are you doing with him?
I'm keeping him, or making sure I've got him in if I don't have him. But
Okay.
fortunately, I have him, so I'm
Okay.
gonna.
Okay, you know what, mate? Maybe we'll convince you. Maybe we'll sway you. Maybe you'll go the other way. But we'll get to that point a little bit later in today's stream. Of course, if you do enjoy it, make sure you're hitting that like button. It does push it out to more people. Of course, hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you very much for helping the channel hit 10,000 subscribers, and get your questions in, as we'll be answering those a little bit later in today's stream. But first off, Jake, let's start off with your team, mate. Wildcard active in game week 11, and it's safe to say went pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very comfortably above average score.
Oh, definitely so.
Yeah, happy with it. Didn't break the 100, and I think sometimes you might make a wild card team hoping to just get into that 100 club. I didn't quite make it, but I think I've been a little bit more sensible and made a wildcard team which will last a good few weeks. I've got future transfers planned. I feel like it's stands in good stead for the time being until you tell me that Haaland's a waste of space and I can spend my money elsewhere, and then I end up minus fouring this week.
No, no, I'm not going to tell you to do that. Obviously, you got the captaincy decision right. Went with Mohamed Salah over Erling Haaland. What was kind of the thought process behind that one?
Um, you're gonna have to remind me who they were playing.
Who?
Who did
Who
How
were?
did he play?
Uh, Haaland played Brighton.
Did we play Villa?
Yeah, I think you played Villa.
Um, yeah, I mean, I actually predicted. I mean, the amount of predictions things that I do, and I'm sure you do as well, because we
Yeah.
both have that prediction league that we've entered. I've got Super Six going. I've got some other accounts. Don't know if I can say it on here, but we know what we mean. Which I'll do a Super Six on that, and on one of them I said 2-1 to Brighton. I was like, I've actually predicted this. Checked your thing that we do,
Yeah.
went 2-1 City. Checked Super Six, went 2-1 City. I was like, oh god damn it! I actually thought if only I committed to it. So I do think subconsciously I thought that City weren't looking convincing.
Hmm.
It wasn't necessarily anything to do with Haaland, and I mean that proved dividends to be fair because he did still score. But I just fancied Brighton. I really didn't, and I don't think necessarily, or quite clearly, from my lack of commitment to a result, I wasn't convinced that it would go either way.
Yeah.
But I just didn't think it would be convincing for City. Whereas with Liverpool, they've just become a little bit of a powerhouse, and I fancied them at home to Villa. I think if it was an away game, maybe I would have been more torn on who to captain. But with it being at Anfield, under the light on a Saturday night, very, very nice. It's all coming back to me now. I just fancied it. I thought he'd at least get an assist.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, I was very fortunate with the way it panned out. To be honest, I think everywhere else was decent, and I think the main thing that I'm quite happy with, which leads on in a bit to what my future plans are. I don't have Palmer quite clearly, as you can see.
Yeah.
I didn't fancy him in the game week just gone because there was a lot of doubt over him. And so I kept Bruno Fernandes. How well, that couldn't have gone much better, to be honest.
Yep.
I think he scored his first goal of the season as well. So yeah, I mean, I was happy with that. That went well, and I've now got a nice little path to get Palmer back in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm guessing you've got a little bit of budget left over to go.
Yeah, I believe so. I can double check, but I definitely have a decent amount. I can afford to swap Bruno for Palmer. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. So probably after Bruno's next two games, where I think it's Everton and Ipswich, you're probably going to be looking to make that switch to Palmer.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Chelsea's run really does take a very nice turn now.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see how Bruno does this weekend because maybe I will or won't wait yet another week for Palmer. If Palmer does better than Bruno this week, I might be tempted to do it a week earlier than I first anticipated.
Yeah. Overall, pretty decent wild card. You can't complain with that. 84 points. You're still above me as well, I think, by 3 points at the moment. So,
And the wild card and the triple captains have been played.
It's only by 3 points. I'm coming for you. I've clawed it back.
It's Jordan Pickford, mate.
It's Jordan Pickford every week. He's just in here picking up monster holes every single week.
Everton have been abysmal, and yet the wild card, he just got himself one of the best returns, a saved penalty against Newcastle, and what somehow scraped a clean sheet in that game. And that must have been ringing in my ears because I went, you know what? Despite this wild card opportunity, I'm keeping the Everton boys in goal.
Yeah, why not? I mean, goalkeeper's always one of those positions. I've said it throughout the course of kind of when we've been doing these streams and throughout the course of this channel. It's one of those weird positions where trying to predict where players are going to get points from is ridiculously hard. I think it was Jordan Pickford picked up the most points against top six sides last season as well. Like, most people will be rotating or looking for better goalkeeper picks, but that's just kind of proof there that sometimes it doesn't work out that way and players just score against top teams as well.
Yeah. I think overall I was quite happy with that. I think that there were two questionable ones probably out of all of them, which is Dragusin, who I picked because there were a few injury doubts. I didn't actually think Romero was going to play either, to be honest, but I didn't read too much into it. He was appalling.
He's terrible. He's really bad.
Yeah, and I remember putting him into the group chat, and one of our mates also said, "I think those words to a T."
Yeah.
What a terrible shout! He is awful, and then he had an error leading to a goal. Was very fortunate not to score an own goal, and yeah, it really could have gone better that. And then Curtis Jones, I think he's the other elephant in the room for that team, but he's in a rich vein of form. He's playing very frequently, and he was dirt cheap. And when he's playing he's getting regular minutes in the best team in the league. You can't argue that at the moment.
Yeah,
I think he was worth a punt, even if he does sit on the bench for a few games.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's move on to your team for this upcoming game week then. Obviously, you've played the wild card, and you spoke to me off stream, and you said the plan was just to roll this game week. So I think the team's in pretty good shape, to be honest, for a roll. I would say maybe the only player missing, of course, is Cole Palmer with a delicious fixture this week. But other than that, the team's looking pretty decent. Talk me through it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only real tricky situation I've had to make here. The tricky decision I've had to make here, I mean, is that I've gone for Fulham over Wolves.
Yeah.
That is the real points maker. I've got to hope for a 1-0 Fulham win, really. But we'll see how that goes. I could be eating my words. However, I don't think I will be with that. I have actually got, just looking at what you've put out here, I think I would swap Hall and Dragusin.
Yeah, I just was looking at that one. I didn't swap those two, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think, Tom, you asked me about Haaland. I think I might captain him this week. And I know they're playing their bogey team, but Tottenham Hotspur, City are playing them at a good time because Spurs have just lost to Ipswich. And I know everything goes out the window in these kinds of games, but they're at home. Haaland's just smashed a hat trick. They've not looked very good. They're four defeats in a row. Can they really go five? I think Haaland might have something to say about that.
Okay, but Salah surely away at Southampton. Southampton are dreadful.
I think it's one of those, really. I think I can completely understand why you'd say that. Um, the only thing in my head is, well, there's two things. One is, of course, from a bias point of view, if Salah does stuff, I'm more than happy either way.
Yeah.
So I've kind of backed both corners there. And also, as much as he was effective against Villa and he's getting consistent returns, there are still players in that front three who are more likely to get a return. Salah has been most often the creator of opportunities. Now, don't get me wrong, he still scores plenty of goals this season. But I just feel like if you're going to back someone in that Southampton game to get a couple of goals, it probably wouldn't be Salah. It would be someone like Diaz or Nunes, whoever's going to start, as opposed to Salah, who probably will be the creator of those goals.
Okay. The only thing that I think would lead me more towards a Salah captain is the fact his bonus point picking up this season has been incredible. I think he's on 20 plus bonus points this season. The highest last year was Cole Palmer with 31, I believe. And Salah's already got 20 in 11 games. Like wow. the change to bonus this season has meant he's an absolute monster for it.
Yeah, that is very impressive. I think it's still a toss-up, though. I mean, on paper, you probably should be backing Salah.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things when you've got Erling Haaland in your team, there's never a bad time to captain him.
Okay.
I mean, except for the last 4 or 5 games.
Jamie's just put it in the chat, 21 bonus points already. We've got lots of channel moderators and channel members in the chat as well. So shout out to Andy, FPL Shane as well, and of course Jamie Hayes, absolute legends. Thank you for returning to the stream. In terms of transfers, if you was to make a transfer this week, is there anywhere that you potentially think you might be looking at?
Well, I mean, the Chelsea turn of fixtures is really nice now, so that would be something to consider maybe. If I was really desperate, if I didn't have the likes of Hall on my bench and Hall, Delone, Robinson being a pretty good back three considering the fixtures they've got, I think Dragerson would be in and out straight away. Maybe one of the Chelsea defenders, someone like Gusto, with the fact that I have saved a little bit of money, should allow me to keep my finances intact for Palmer. However, I think with the way that my team's set up, I'm quite happy to roll this week.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to roll.
That's rare for me.
Did you roll any transfers prior to the wild card? Because obviously they carry this season.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Well, I mean, technically, the week that I did the wild card, that doesn't carry.
That doesn't carry. But if you had any before, they carry.
No, in that case, I took a -4 the week before.
Good. Okay, so you're gonna bank it and have 2 next week. That makes sense because then you could get Palmer. And I think Levi Colwell is probably going to be a very popular pick for Chelsea.
Fair dues.
Played 90 minutes pretty much every season.
Do you fancy him over Gusto?
Yeah. He's just playing consistent 90 minutes. And the run that Chelsea are about to go on, you can keep players till around game week 29.
Yeah.
It's literally like they'll have like one bad game and then it's just back to like greens and greys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely am going to get behind the Chelsea train. I'm just not going to rush into it.
It makes sense.
I think it's a shame they've got so many talented individuals because even catching a glimpse of the international break, Madueke is some player, to be fair to him.
Oh, I hate Madueke.
You hate him?
I despise Madueke. He's like another Jeremy Doku. Just doesn't pass when he needs to pass and like thinks he can take everyone on. I absolutely despise him.
Well, fair enough. Even so, I do feel like he's a talented player. I'm not going to make any bold claims comparing the two. I can see why you'd say that. They're both very good on the ball, but their output has lacked in the past. But I think I've just got to hold on and wait and see. And at the end of the day, it's only going to be the inevitable transfer in midfield, you'd imagine.
Yeah, I think Palmer is going to be, and we'll talk about that with the no Haaland stuff and stuff like that. But looking at those Chelsea fixtures, and also I was looking today over the December period. There's 7 game weeks in December, so it's going to be lots and lots of games. There's 2 Champions League rounds, and there's a Carabao Cup round in there. Cole Palmer obviously isn't part of Chelsea's European squad, so doesn't have to worry about those. And Chelsea are out of the Carabao Cup. So he's getting a break in between those games. Whereas Salah, I think, gets 0 breaks. I think same with Saka as well, 0 breaks for him. I think it's Haaland gets 1 because they're not in the Carabao Cup. But yeah, I think Palmer is going to be one of those players that is going to be in everybody's team.
100%, and you'd be foolish not to have him. I'd say. I think he's in 3 games' time. If you don't have Palmer, I think he's more important by then than Salah and Haaland.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We'll see it with the fixtures. Thank you for saying my mic's turned down. Like literally, I don't know why it does it. Every single time the volume on it just goes, nah. Not fancying it. But yeah, 100% agree with you on that point. And I think Palmer is going to be one of those players that everybody will have and needs to have.
Yeah. Did you see that guy? Just a little tangent.
Go on, you tangent. Go on.
I can't remember who it was, but I just feel like it's someone you would have come across on Twitter. It's some football Twitter account who are statistically based, and they were counting down the 10 most improved players ratings.
Yeah.
Did you see who was number 1?
No, I didn't see who was number 1. Who was it?
No, because I got Gravenberch was 3.
Yeah.
Buonanotte was 2, and then I just didn't check who number 1 was in the end because
didn't fancy it.
Updated it. And then I went back to have a look before and couldn't find the actual account.
Valid. Well, there we go.
I'm just intrigued to know who has outperformed their score rating of last season.
Maybe it'd be somebody like Chris Wood. Someone's just put in the chat, Chris
Wood.
Wood.
that would make sense, to be honest.
He's been a bit of a bagsman, hasn't he?
He really has. Really has. No, I think that's probably it, because when I'm scratching my head back a little bit to that top 10, I don't recall seeing him lower down.
Yeah, I could imagine he's definitely got to be one of the names in there. The amount he's been scoring. Right, that's Jake's team. Let's answer some of your guys' questions. Then we'll move on to my team. Then, of course, we've got the old trusty head-to-head records to go through, because that's a science. 100% works. And then we'll obviously talk about Haaland and whether or not it's worth selling him or keeping him, or what the plan is with that one as well. And we'll look at the other fixtures as well.
Just before you do actually move on, I just want to say we definitely do need to get it back. But I just thought I'd say I think we should just finalise that Dragusin was 100% the bed shitter.
Oh yeah, lad, he's confirmed. No, he wasn't. Who was the guy for Ipswich? The guy for Ipswich is bed shitter of the week.
Oh, what, they won?
No, they did. That was the week before. Sorry, I'm thinking of the week before. It's because we didn't do one, did we?
What happened the week before?
That guy scored an own goal, gave away the penalty.
Oh, that Harry Clark, is it?
No, I think is it Clark or was it Morsey? I can't remember which one it was.
No, but it was Harry Clark.
All right.
It definitely wasn't Morsey. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Harry Clark. But it wasn't Morsey.
Someone will know in the chat.
No, yeah. So I think it's the Ipswich Donny and then Dragusin.
Yeah. Someone said Welbeck as well could be the shout for most improved player.
Great shout, but I definitely saw him. I think he was like top 5.
Someone said Canate as well.
You know what? I'll have a look whilst Tom chats his head off. But
I'll answer some questions.
Pretty sure it's Chris.
You look on this. Someone said Clark is the Ipswich player. That's the one that got sent off. Right, let's have a look at some of the questions we've had in. Andy has said West Ham and Wolves keeper, 8.3 million total price for 2 playing goalkeepers to rotate. Good idea or not? I'm gonna say not, because I don't know how much longer Lopetegui's got within the job. If they lose the next couple over the Christmas period, he might be gone. Areola might be back in under a new manager. And Jose Sá, if you watch any Wolves games, is the reason they are conceding so many goals. And I think he's terrible. He can't come for a cross. He's woeful. And me and Sean have been watching quite a few of the games because we've had like Cunha and Nate Nuri in, and he'll just flap at crosses and just like palm easy shots out. He's really bad. So I think that Johnson will be back in at some point when he's fit and available again. So yeah, that's kind of my thought process on that one. Off course in the chat as well, another one of our channel members. So thank you very much for that one. What other questions have we had in? Solanke to Isak or Johnson to Semenyo? Ooh.
Solanke to Isak or Johnson to Semenyo. Well, what is he okay, Semenyo? Because I'm seeing a yellow flag on my screen.
Well, I think he's fine. Lad, everybody's got flags at the moment. We'll have a look at my team in a second. It's just full of flags. So it's the old international break ones. So yeah, I guess we have to wait till the press conferences before kind of making any further decisions on that one. But
I'd say Solanke to Isak.
I really like Isak at the moment. He's in red hot form, and when we come to see those head-to-head stats in a bit, my goodness, I'd get a bet on him to score this weekend. It's looking pretty decent.
It's West Ham, is it?
It is West Ham, and we'll look at that record. Right, what other questions have we got? Thoughts on Yuri and Timber? Obviously, Ben White's injured for, I think it's 6 to 8 weeks. So, yeah. I'm not 100% keen on this one because I think I would rather just pay that extra 0.5 and get Saliba or just get Raya, rather than have to worry about like Timber dropping in and out of the squad and being rotated. Like, there's a lot of fixtures coming up, and I think somebody like a Gabriel, Saliba and Raya probably going to see more minutes than Yuri and Timber, and you're only paying what, 0.5 to get a Saliba in, or exactly the same price for Raya. But that's my opinion on that one. I don't know if you agree with that, Jake.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. I'm not actually sure off the top of my head how Arsenal's fixtures look.
They're really decent. They've got a really good run coming up. We'll see it when we talk about the Haaland thing, because Saka's in there as well.
Yeah, attacking wise, I think you can always have an Arsenal player in and have a shout for them. I just meant like more defensively. Like, now that Odegaard's back, I do think Arsenal should be a force to be reckoned with again.
Yeah.
They've had a bit of a wobble. The defenders haven't been able to last like a full 90 minutes for like different reasons. So yeah, I think it will be interesting. I'm not going to say anything too controversial because a few weeks ago I was quite keen to take Gabriel out. He just like failed to finish a game because he was injured. There was a Saliba suspension. It just all seems to have like crumbled a little bit for Arsenal. I do think Odegaard's come back at a really, really important time for them, and he should be that glue that sticks everyone back together.
Nice. I think actually Arsenal have probably been a little bit unfortunate with some of the clean sheets. You think some of the games that they've been in, red cards have obviously played big parts in that. And if you look at their XG conceded, they're still one of the top teams in terms of that metric as well. So I think with some more decent fixtures across the line, I think they'll start picking up some clean sheets over the next few weeks.
Yeah, fair enough.
Someone said, who's the better option for the next 5 game weeks, Mbeumo or Bruno?
I don't know how Brentford's fixtures look.
They fall off a cliff after 14. Same with Bruno, to be honest. Both players have like the weird same kind of, next 2 are great, then it falls off a cliff for both of them.
Well, in which case you'd probably argue Mbeumo just because you're not wasting as much money.
I think Bruno could be the better one for that next 5 period. Mainly down to the fact of the new manager bounce. Ipswich this week, they're terrible at defending. I think he could pick up another mega haul this week.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah, and Buemo's numbers as well have fallen off a cliff. Like, I think it's like 0.23 goal involvement the past few games, which is piss poor. It's not what you want.
No, Brentford are weird. They're very weird, but at home they don't half score goals. So
yeah, it seems like the first few seasons they came up, they kind of prioritised like defending, keeping clean sheets. They were always like quite a good defence and quite a hard team to play. Now it just seems like it's a free-for-all, and they go, we're actually not bothered about defending. Let's just go and ram in 5 goals and win 5-3 every week.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be a heart stopper, but a great time to be a Brentford fan if you've got a season ticket.
Yeah, it'd be great. Let's have a look what other questions we've had. Would you consider Cunha to Isak? not for me personally. I think Cunha's got some really good fixtures coming up, so that one seems like a little bit of a waste. And Cunha's been in pretty decent form as well, so it's not like you're taking an out-of-form player for an in-form player, so yeah. Not going to be one for me. Currently on my wildcard, really struggling for defenders apart from Konate, 8 Nuri, who are locks. Have considered Hall, but other than that, no one comes to mind. Levi Colwell for me is a cracking pickup. Jake's got Robinson in here as well. Fulham have actually been, I think it's the 4th best defence in the league so far this season. They've got some good fixtures as long as you can rotate around 15, 16 and 18. So that's another area to look at as well. If you want to go and check out the FPL Experts video I did 2 days ago, there's a full breakdown of my favourite cheap defenders. So if you want to go and take a look at that, there you go. But if you want to stay in the stream, that's perfectly fine as well. Any cheap defenders you think I've missed there, Jake, or anyone that you potentially maybe thought of?
No, not off the top of my head. No, I think I've pretty much gone for the big hitters of cheaper defenders really, because I've avoided, like we've mentioned, the Arsenal defence.
Yeah.
I've not got the Liverpool defence.
Yeah.
Or even Gvardiol, who seems to be scoring for fun, club and country. I've gone for the cheaper, more sensible options. I'll hold my hands up and say Dragusin was one of the worst decisions I've made.
Hey, lad, we've all been there. We've all been there.
Yeah, but I've got 4 defenders that I can happily rotate with until I decide to make that transfer.
Yeah. Someone said Anderson as well for 4.3 from Fulham could be a decent pickup. Bournemouth as well have got some decent fixtures, so maybe somebody like a Kirkes or who's the other guy they've got? Senesi and people like that could also be decent options as well. Brighton have got some decent fixtures, but trying to predict who's going to play in that back line's a mystery. And
Van Heck's probably the most.
Van Heck, yeah. But again, with all these fixtures coming up, I'm like, I just want 90-minute men across the team. I'm not messing about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right, let's move on. We'll answer some more questions a little bit later in the stream, so do keep them coming in. We are going to head over to my points and see how I've been doing in the past few weeks. And you know what, lads? I think we're back. I think genuinely we're back. You know, a few weeks ago we were 5 million, right? 5 weeks ago we were 5 million in the world. Terrible. I was coming on here. I was embarrassed. You were outscoring me every single week. You were battering me. But yeah, we've turned things around, and it's been another great game week. Unfortunately, didn't get the captaincy decision right. If we'd have got that right, we would have crept into the top 1 mil. That'd have been great. We went with Haaland. I thought Brighton looked leaky defensively, and that's kind of the way the season's panned out. You know, City did score, but I thought they'd have probably got a few more. Haaland did have some chances, but it wasn't meant to be. Visser has been probably one of my signings of the season. Happy with him. Mikolenko as well was doing the business at 4.3 million, picking up clean sheets. 8 Nuri, great. And then Cunha was my transfer in this week as well. So again, got rid of the fraud Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Happy days for a bit of Cunha action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just made me laugh seeing Jamie that he's 78,000th. 78,000th, and yet he wastes his evenings listening to us.
Hey, we're good FPL managers, lads.
This guy needs to have his own FPL account. 78,000 is fucking impressive, man.
Yeah, it's good, but it's early doors. It's early doors, lad. We've seen the past 5 game weeks. I've gone from 5 mil to 1 mil.
I'm 1 mil 82,660 then, I think.
Yeah. Lad, it can all change. It can all change. You know what I mean? We've got 7 game weeks just in December. You can pick it up. You can change. It's still very early in the season.
No, very true.
Lots to play for.
Very true.
Lots to play
good for you. I like your flags. Good.
They're nice, aren't they? The Visser and Bueno and Palmer ones. Palmer has been spotted in training, so that's fine. We're good with that one. We've not got to worry about that one. The Mbeumo and Visser ones are a little bit worrying though.
Fabianski in goal, bloody hell.
Yeah, I know. 9 pointers sat on bench. That's a ring stinger, isn't it? When old Raya's getting 2.
Yeah, that's the thing, mate. That's the thing. I still to this day will not understand why you gave me the best piece of advice in the whole wide world to have 2 from the same club and then decided to ignore it.
Yeah, I know, but I think if I'd have done that, I'd have had both Brentford goalkeepers, and Brentford haven't kept a clean sheet in weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
Flecken's dodging points for fun. I think he was at the weekend. in the game. He was on for like 3 bonus. He'd made like 8 saves. He was on for basically like a mega haul like Pickford. And then obviously they conceded again, fell off of bonus, and I think he ended up with like 4 or 5. So yeah, stinker.
Yeah, but now you've got the team. I can imagine that being pretty well set up. To be fair,
Yeah, agreed. Jamie said he wouldn't be anywhere else. Look at that. He loves us, lad. He loves us.
there you go then. Well, I'll announce it in a bit if anyone gets it right. But I'm just going to add a little brain teaser in there.
Oh, go on.
Number one isn't Chris Wood.
Is it Danny Welbeck?
No, Danny Welbeck is fifth.
Okay, could you give us a clue?
God. Um. uh. Well, I could say he plays for a club that one of the lads in the comments supports.
Oh, right. Well, that's narrowed it down then. We've got 58 people in here. So,
Well, I mean, who do I know that supports a football club in here?
well, we've had Chelsea. We've got a Chelsea fan in here. We've got a Brighton fan in here. We've got a Villa fan in here. So we've
I
got.
think that's nice. Okay, well, he plays for Chelsea, Brighton, or Villa.
There we go. Right. So it's one of those. Okay. Chelsea, Villa, or Brighton? Chelsea, Villa, or
Anyway, lad, let's see this team for next week.
Brighton? That is teasing. Someone said João Pedro.
No, he's not been back soon enough, has he? But a great way to burst onto the scene.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on, to be honest.
100%. He's at 5.4 million now as well. So could be a great enabler. My concern would be Jorginho Rutter's been playing really well within that 10 role. And I don't know whether or not with so many games coming up that João Pedro is just going to be straight chucked back in.
It's going to take a bit of time, I think, for him to be completely relied upon, isn't it?
Yeah. Someone said a few people are saying Action Jackson. Is it Jackson?
No, but Luke the Lucky has hit the nail on the head. It was Carlos Baleba.
Wow. Wow. There we go. Well done, Luke the Lucky.
Yeah, he's under the radar. To be fair, I mean, I guess if you're a Brighton fan, you'll know just how good he's looked. I didn't catch all the City game, but I heard as soon as he came on, the game just swung in Brighton's favour. But yeah, he fair play. They've replaced Caicedo with flying colours there.
That's just the Brighton way, though, isn't it? They'll just find some South American lad or some lad that we've never heard from some like Eastern European league, and he'll just immediately spawn in, and Chelsea will buy him for 85 million summer.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it's going to go, isn't it?
Yeah, literally.
Right, let's move on to how my team is looking for the next game week. This is how we've currently got it lined up. Again, I'm going to be in the same position as Jake as long as all my flags do disappear. Thomas Frank delivers the good news and says Mbeumo and Viss are available. I'm going to roll this week. I think the team's looking pretty decent, Nick, to be honest. We're looking good for next week as well. I think the position that is obviously up for grabs for me personally is going to be the Haaland one, but we'll talk about that in a little bit more depth. Whether or not I decide to take him out ahead of the Liverpool game next week, I'll have 2 free transfers, so can do a little bit of manoeuvring around. Or I think it probably would be, again, maybe rolling next week, and Forest's fixtures are going to fall off after a cliff. Like, literally, they got Arsenal this week, then they've got Ipswich, so I'd happily play Aina. Then he's going to be coming out for Levi Colwell. That's the plan currently because the fixtures just do a nosedive. Like, they literally fly off a cliff. So
They beat us at Anfield.
Hey, lad, they're currently sat second for XG conceded. They're flying defensively. Aina as well, I think, is one of the top scoring cheap defenders as well within the game. But you know when it's just like sometimes like it's time to cut your losses?
Well, this will really test them, see if they are going to be title challengers. And I say it laughing, but...
Hey, Leicester won the league, lad. So you never know.
I think if Forest win the league, I think that might top that, you know.
No.
Because Leicester won the league when everyone else was just a little bit like...
Yeah, but everyone else bar you is doing a little bit of that. City have lost 4 on the bounce.
City can still pull it out.
Arsenal are shit in bed. So...
I think it'll be very close, but I do think Forest winning the league would top Leicester.
Any temptation to move over to Blue Sky? I do have a Blue Sky account. If you go over to my Twitter, I posted the other day about it. So yeah, I'll just be posting the exact same stuff I post on Twitter on Blue Sky as well. You a Blue Sky fan, Jake? You on Blue
I
Sky?
don't know what that is, mate. Is that a city app?
Oh yeah. It's for all us City Blue fans, mate. You know what I mean?
What
So
actually is it?
it's basically like Twitter, but without the ads and the porn bots.
Yeah, I've
I,
actually not heard of that.
I know you're big into the porn bots, so you're probably just gonna stay on Twitter.
Yeah, you know me. There's football on Twitter, is there?
Yeah, what? Oh, that's not on my feed anywhere.
I think
Uh,
I think I think porn adverts are on anyone's feed, whether you like it or not.
yeah. Like my dad knows who Bonnie Blue is. Like I think that's kind of that kind of sums it up. You know what I mean? Even my dad's been looking at some stuff he shouldn't be looking at, or brothers, you know what I mean, been infected by the porn bots.
I thought I recognised him in the queue.
I did think. I know that receding hairline. That's Steve.
Oh God.
Oh dear. It wouldn't be this stream, would it, without just some absolute random dribble going off. Right. I get the sense you're not joking. Someone's point.
I saw she was doing that, but that it is starting to come together now. Because did you see she did that podcast, didn't she? Where like a dad turned up with his son.
Yeah. And I was there as well. I was there. FPL Tom, got to rep the flag. You know what I mean? Oh dear. I didn't think Bonnie Blue would be getting a shout out on today's stream, but here we are, I guess.
No one's safe.
Obviously, if Visser or Mbuemo is injured, I do have a few transfer plans. Visser could become Danny Welbeck or Evan Nielsen, depending whichever way I kind of feel with that one. But I'm fancying a little bit of Pele, you know. He's been very, very good. Obviously, you highlighted him within the most improved players quiz there, but yeah, could be one to potentially consider.
Is the fact that Pedro's back a little bit of a...
Well, he plays in the 10. Pele's up
I know,
top,
but
isn't
just because of that, does that mean that all of a sudden there's a little bit more rotation? Because if you play in the 10, Pedro and Ruta, they can both play up top if they needed to.
he? Yeah. I guess they got Evan Ferguson as well.
Yeah, I like Evan Nilsson, as you could probably guess.
He's in your team, so I'd hope so.
Yeah, that was a fun week for us last week, actually. That Brentford Bournemouth game. That's good though, because you can just rely. We were both subconsciously very, very confident that goals galore were going to happen. So
And goals galore did happen, so it was great.
goals galore did happen, and Vissa was at the forefront of it.
If this was your team, any plans for this week or anything kind of going forward? Do you think that maybe I'm missing out on?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I don't know how to call the Bournemouth game, but I have backed my cards. I've got Semenyo and Evan Nilsson playing,
Yeah.
but Brighton are a force to be reckoned with. There's no doubt about that. And Bournemouth did just lose to Brentford, which I do actually think I thought that they would win that, even though they were away. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. But I do think that there is a chance Bournemouth will win.
Okay.
Otherwise, why the hell would I have them both on my team?
True.
Well, Wolves-wise, we're just going to be completely on the other end of the sofa, really, for that game, aren't we?
We are, mate. We are.
I don't know how to call that either. I think you've got to see it as Fulham will be, of course, the favourites being at home and having the better season as a whole. But Wolves do seem to have steadied the ship a little bit.
I think Wolves will struggle in that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, in which case, what have you got them both in for?
Well, look at my bench, lad. I've got Aina away at Arsenal, Winks at home against Chelsea, and Greaves with
Which
a flag.
begs the question why you'd even be considering taking Haaland out ever when you've got that to sort.
No, that's fine. Like I don't need. I just like if anyone gets benched, Winks plays 90 minutes most weeks, doesn't he?
Yeah, have you got any transfers?
No, I've got no transfers, so that's why I'm looking to build some.
No, fair enough. Well, no, you've got a solid midfield. I can't really argue with that. Defensively, on the whole, it's pretty sound because even when you look at Aït-Nouri, there's a good chance he'll get some kind of return.
Yeah, he'll get an attack in return.
And then up front, Wissa, it's just as great as he is and stuff, even if he does blank and Brentford don't score, you've got Mikalenko, so that's you've backed it from both forts there, and then Haaland. Yeah, I do actually fancy him this week, to be honest, mate.
Okay, all
I
right.
think I also feel like away games, especially against the likes of clubs that have just come up, I do think they are a little bit cagey sometimes. And don't get me wrong, Southampton have been dreadful, but so were Ipswich. And yet it was only 2-0. And I just feel like those Southampton, Ipswich, those sides will be compact against the big clubs because they'll have the fans on their side. Whereas at City, I think if one goal goes in early for City, I think Spurs could capitulate.
Do you not remember Ipswich on the opening day?
Yeah, it was only 2-0.
Yeah, but you could have had easily more. Very easily more.
I know, but there were also chances to start with, and I think anything can happen in those games. Liverpool should win, but I don't know about how comfortably. I think City will win more comfortably than Liverpool.
Okay, all right. Let's move on. Let's take a look at the kind of the points I've been alluding at, whether or not it is worth going without Erling Haaland. Interestingly, the poll in the chat, 53% are selling Haaland. That's their plan for Haaland. 36% are holding, 1% are buying, and 10% are unsure. So what we've got here is the fixtures all the way up until game week 20 for City, Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal. So realistically, if you were to sell off Haaland, you're probably going to have a midfield free of Palmer, Salah and Saka. And I think for me, the big debate is, where realistically are you going to captain Haaland? Now, I know you've said you're going to captain him against Spurs, whatever, but most people won't be doing. They'll be picking one of Palmer or of course, Salah for this week. But then post that, where else are you maybe going to captain Erling Haaland across this period? Maybe Palace away?
Oh, you've got Liverpool, Everton, don't you?
You've
and
got,
Arsenal, Fulham.
Yeah, this is what I mean. And then you're looking even in 17, I think, or 17 or 18, you know, City have got Everton at home, a great fixture. But look at what everybody else has got. Saka's got Ipswich, Salah's got Leicester, so realistically captaincy is going to be between those two. And Cole Palmer's got Fulham at home. It's not really until this game week 19 one where you'd probably want Haaland in for Leicester away. But the rest of these here, so what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fixtures where you're not going to be realistically probably going to be captaining him. And you're spending, what, 15.2 million on him? Is that worth it?
I get what you're saying, but do you think that Cole Palmer and Salah individually score more than Haaland in that time?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Look at some of the fixtures, right, that they've got. So Palmer's got to play both Leicester and Southampton. Brentford, who leak goals for fun. Liverpool have got Southampton, Fulham. I think Tottenham are pretty leaky, and Leicester as well. And then obviously you've got Saka down the bottom again, who's been really consistent, with Ipswich, Palace who've been woeful, and West Ham who've been woeful as well.
Yeah, I know, but then it depends on how you look at it, because City do have Palace as well. They've also got Everton, just like Liverpool do. And with it not being a derby and with it being the Etihad, I'd fancy City there. They've got West Ham, they've got Leicester, they've got United at home, who I know we can talk about the new manager bounce, etc. But it's been a good while since a new manager at United has actually pulled City's pants down.
True.
But
he did pull City's pants down in the Champions League.
He did, but I think he's going to have a little shock when he realises he's not got Gyökeres and he's got a 50-year-old CDM that doesn't fancy running.
Okay.
I think Sporting Lisbon's whole thing was the fact that they were able to counter-attack and in pace and press. And I just think he's got a little bit of work to do. Now, don't get me wrong, I think United will improve, but it just depends for how long and to what extent they're willing. They have the capability to compete with the sides like City away.
Okay. Have I maybe tempted you to go without Haaland and have a midfield free of Saka, Salah and Palmer?
I definitely will have Salah and Palmer. I think it just depends on how United do. Because to be honest, I think I'm still having Haaland over Saka with those fixtures. We'll see. I might eat my words, and I will this season. I'm not going to be stubborn. If Saka is outperforming Haaland quite clearly, I won't hesitate to take him out. But I actually think it'll be interesting to see how Bruno does, because, like you say, the next five, as much as it does get trickier as the games go on, if he grabs the ball by the horns, there is every chance that he competes with this trio here and Saka. So he's another one to consider. But I think, as far as I'm aware, it'll be the three on screen. I'll be holding on to once Palmer's in.
Okay. I've also not put Spurs on there. They have some okay-ish fixtures thrown in there. Fulham, Bournemouth, Southampton.
Yeah, he's someone to consider. I say he. Who?
Son, probably going to be Son.
Yeah, no, Son is someone to consider, but just coming back from injury, hasn't been given that full backing yet from Ange to actually consistently play 90 minutes. Don't get me wrong, he still slotted a goal, got an assist. He's still doing little things, but Spurs are just not performing to the same level of Liverpool, of Chelsea, to be honest. They've looked a good side in the past couple of months there. The cogs are turning and things are actually changing for the better for Chelsea. And City are, with Erling Haaland, anything can happen. They're like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. I do think I like having all three of these within my side. You know what I mean? Because Haaland is one of those players, I saw it at the start of the season where I went without him, is a player that can just get a hat-trick. And I do feel he's been rather unfortunate in terms of some of the chances he's had over the past few weeks. You know what I mean? On another day, he puts a few chances away against Brighton. Southampton, he could have very easily came away with a hat-trick, and this might not even be a conversation that we're having right now. But it's the fact that City have been poor. It's the fact that he hasn't been, at the levels we expect from Erling Haaland. And it is that more elevated price point this season that does make it an option, I think, to go without him.
Yeah. The one thing you have highlighted, though, is that having an Arsenal defender is definitely a worthwhile shout over the next couple of months.
Yeah, 100%. There's some pretty just steady fixtures there, isn't there?
Yeah, and I could see them getting a clean sheet and maybe half of them.
Yeah. The 11FI data for projected clean sheets as well over the next 6 game weeks has them as the best team for clean sheets over that period. Have I convinced you then, maybe? Are you going to keep Haaland? Are you going to sell him?
I think I'm going to keep him, but you've at least made me aware of the fact that Saka and co will be sniffing on the doorstep.
Yeah.
Should Haaland decide to leave.
Yeah, 100%. Somebody said KDB is back as well in the chat.
Well, you've got to give that a little bit of time. Maybe if that starts clicking, then we know there's only one answer.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Let me know your thoughts on that kind of discussion we just had there in the chat as well. Of course, get your votes in on the poll. Selling is still winning by 55%, so it looks like quite a few people could be going without Erling Haaland, and he actually might be a differential, so you never know. Might be getting some greens off him in the next few weeks. Before we finish up, of course, we'll answer some of your guys' questions, but we are going to look at the notorious head-to-head record, as we always do in these streams, because it's something that me and you like. It's a little bit of...
I love that you've got on this bandwagon.
It's just a science that doesn't make sense, but does make sense, doesn't it, really? Obviously, I've got all the kind of top captaincy picks and top players, but there was one player that when I was doing the research, I looked at a 300%, and it's Alexander Isak in 2 games against West Ham, 5 goals and 1 assist. I think it's safe to say Alexander Isak likes a goal against West Ham.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, so maybe if you're a betting man, or maybe if you're on a wild card this week, Alexander Isak might be potentially a player to consider with that one.
Okay, well then, to throw it back at you, do you take Haaland out for Isak? Not you particularly.
I think that would be the striker I would go for. because of the form he's in, because of the decent fixtures that Newcastle have got as well. And I think it still keeps a decent amount of money within the forward line. So it's not like you're having to replace like a 5 million striker to Haaland. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that.
But yeah,
Palmer played Leicester.
you what?
Palmer has never played Leicester.
Palmer has never played Leicester. I wanted just to include that one as well in there. So yeah, never played against Leicester.
See if he's played against them for like bloody that Port Vale when he was on loan.
Port Vale. Haaland, obviously you spoke about Spurs and potentially maybe considering captaincy for you this week. 4 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. It's not a bad record.
No, it's not. I just think it depends on what sides turn up, because if City find Haaland, he'll score. But if Spurs make them choke a little bit, because of course they know that this is certainly their bogey team, like not necessarily in the same format that maybe Arsenal of recent like matches or Liverpool, those classics. I mean, a bogey team where every game they should be going into that and thinking they're going to win, but never seem to.
Yeah.
If they think about that, then it could be a different story. But personally, I think he's going to be improving his summary percentage by the end of the weekend.
Okay. Salah as well, pretty decent record against Southampton. 9 games, 4 goals, 3 assists. Not too bad a record there as well. So, looks like a decent captaincy option as well for this game week. Interestingly, to go with your point for Haaland, he's top of projected points for Fantasy Football Hub and FPL Review. So 2 pretty reliable models for projected points. Both have Haaland coming out on top this week. So maybe you're onto something with this captaincy, lad.
I just feel like I say, I stand by it. City will beat Spurs more convincingly a scoreline than Liverpool will. And that also goes, and that's not even to say that Liverpool against Southampton will be any less dominant. But if we score twice and a 2-0 up, we'll just pass it around the back.
Yeah, I think obviously you'll start rotating players out as well. Whereas I think Pep probably wants a big win to say, like, as a statement to the league, like, we are back. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I've actually just found out that how many minutes did he play?
Go on.
So Cole Palmer has played 28 minutes against Leicester, actually. Did nothing.
Oh, who was that for?
For City.
Okay. Well, it's
so actually, he's not got a very good record there. 28 minutes, no goals, no assists.
Yeah. It's not good. I mean, Cole Palmer's is probably going to be like this most weeks, but obviously, people are always going to ask, "Where's Palmer on these?" Until he's probably played a few seasons in the Premier League, it's going to probably be like this most weeks, isn't it? So, a little bit of a shame, but it is what it is. I'm just checking the Accrington lineup. Yeah, very nice. Obviously, people that play AFL fantasy. Second game of the double game week.
Yeah, you got your big bloody striker. Is he Accrington? No, he's Wimbledon, isn't he?
He's Wimbledon, but obviously it's a double game week, so I've got some Accrington players thrown in there.
I've got a couple Accrington Donnies.
I'm feeling tasty tonight. You know what I mean?
Who else is playing today?
That's it. This is just the one game in the double game week.
What is it? Accrington and Wimbledon.
Yeah.
0-0.
0-0 would be very sexy because I've got quite a few. I think I've got a defender from Wimbledon and 2 from Accrington. So I wouldn't mind a 0-0. A take a 0-0.
Right, lad, you need a 1-0 Wimbledon with that big Dan Stevens.
Oh, lad, if Matt Stevens scores, this is what I like about this game. You just finding weirdos that you never would usually pick, and you just playing them, and it's just great.
Considering the app decided to not account for maybe 2 or 3 weeks of my game. Only 14,000.
It's not terrible.
No, it's not. Considering, I feel like I should at least have 1,000 points, I think.
Yeah, I'm 78.
The lead's got 1,240. What are you on?
I'm 78th in the world.
How many points do you know?
Yeah, let me have a look.
So 1,240 is the top.
I'm on 1,127.
That's very impressive.
I'm quite good at this game, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I thought it's just a shame that the bloody Luke McGee for Tranmere penalty save never
Oh,
got before. But oh well, I gave up on arguing.
yeah,
Um,
100%.
the main L of that was that Doncaster didn't bloody win.
That is true. That is true. A fat Donny win would have been lovely for you, but
Yeah.
it wasn't meant to
But
be, mate.
speaking of last man standing, if you aren't aware, because I went out last week in the final four, that's another reason subconsciously why I've not gone Salah captain, is because I've backed Liverpool this weekend.
Oh no. Oh no. Right, let's have a look at what questions we've had in from you guys. Me and Jake will try and answer as many as we can, but there will be videos out for the rest of the week. There might be a stream on Friday. Then, of course, there will be the deadline stream back. And yeah, it's a busy week next week as well because it's UCL stream Tuesday, deadline Friday. It's a pretty tasty.
Oh my word, is it Liverpool Madrid this week?
Yeah, I reckon it is. No, yeah,
Oh.
yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
There we go. Right, what questions have we had in as well? There's lots of talk of Rashford playing as a striker. Do you think he potentially could be a punt?
No, not for a few weeks. He needs to score 2 goals in 2 consecutive games before I feel like there's anything there. Because he scored once feels like decades ago, but a few weeks ago. And I was like, okay. And then he's just gone quiet again. So hopefully his spark is reignited by Amarin. But I'd want to see a little bit of consistency before I throw my faith in him.
Yeah, he's very much a confidence player, isn't he? He needs to have it kind of flowing through him. He's very much a purple patchy player. When he's in the mood, he's the best player probably within the Premier League or one of the best. When he's not in it, you know what I mean? Like,
Don't realise he's playing.
Antonio makes him look bad. Like, you know what I mean? That's the level he drops to. But
No disrespect to Mikhail if you're watching.
yeah, sorry, Mikhail. I didn't mean to respect you like that. I know you missed a big dick himself, but I don't mean to disrespect you like that. Someone said, is Raul a sell? Raul Jimenez.
I don't know. You'll have to tell me, to be honest.
I think if you can rotate him around the bad fixtures, he's not a bad hold because they got Wolves this week.
It's Wolves.
Tottenham away. Yeah.
It's Adama and Jimenez against Wolves.
Yeah, Brighton. And then it's Arsenal and Liverpool, so you'd need to bench him for that one because then you'd want him for game week 17 against Southampton. But he is starting to look a little bit more like a sell over the next few weeks, I would say. Especially
Keep him this weekend because against his old club,
he's definitely going to score.
Yeah. It'll be a cross for Jimenez and Sarr won't catch it.
Yeah. Someone said keep or sell Trent. I'd say sell Trent. We've seen a lot less clean sheets again this season. The bonus point systems, the way it's working for defenders, has just massacred them pretty much in terms of them scoring points. Obviously, you own James Justin. He scored 2 goals in a game, but because they conceded, didn't even get a bonus point. Whereas last season, if he'd have scored 2 goals, he'd have been top. He'd have definitely got 3.
Yeah,
but it's because of those conceding goals and stuff like that. It just massacres them. So I think Trent and the more expensive defenders, not really worth it in my opinion.
Unless you can guarantee they're going to get that clean sheet.
Yeah, and his bonus point kind of percentages as well have been a little bit lower. I'd say I'd rather have Gvardiol than Trent right now.
So would I. Yeah. Oh, pardon me.
If you
not you, me.
Oh yeah. Damsgaard as a pick, someone said. Do you like Damsgaard as a pick?
He's certainly a differential, but I don't think he is a pick for me.
No, I think if you're going to go for any Brentford boys, it is going to be one of Viscera and Buemo. I don't think anybody else is kind of worth looking at.
Carvalho.
No, not Carvalho. Not Kevin Schade either. He was a fraud. How I managed to get
any return?
No, the fact I managed to get green arrows with Kevin Schade sat on my bench is ridiculous. If you could only pick one between Saka and Isak for the next 4 to 5 game weeks, who would you pick?
I'll probably go Isak,
Yeah, I think I'd be tempted.
For this weekend alone, from the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to bag about 8, but I think, right, West Ham away is Arsenal's next good fixture in 13. But then United at home, we don't really know what to expect from them. And then, as we've been saying, Fulham are a pretty well organised unit. So I'm not. I think I probably would be leaning a little bit more towards Isak, to be honest. I think maybe Saka might be one around 16 that I'd want to pick up. Any other questions we've got? Stewart and Trent for Isak and Konate, but for a -8. Would you do it?
Who's Stewart?
The 4.5 million forward who's never played a game.
I probably wouldn't. I'd probably if you've got Stewart, he's going to be on your bench. Play Trent. Just hold on for a week or two if you're that desperate, I would say. Yeah. The only thing that's making me delay that is the Isak goal scoring capability against West Ham. But, God, I think if you're that desperate for Isak, I imagine you'll have Haaland, so just take him out if you're that desperate.
Yeah. Any other questions? Let me have a quick check. I've got one for you, Jake. What's going to be the highest scoring game this weekend? As always.
It's going to be whatever. A Brentford at home?
No, they're away.
Oh no, not that then.
Not that. No, but that might be it for me.
I'm gonna go for. What am I gonna go for? I'm gonna go for Newcastle West Ham.
Okay. I was looking at Newcastle West Ham, and I think I'm agreeing with you just because Alexander Isak's getting 5.
Yeah, so, he's getting 5, and West Ham are also going to... Jared Bowen will score 1.
Yeah, Jared Bowen and Antonio, because we've spoke about him, will just score 1 now as well.
Yeah,
just the way it's going to go.
Yeah, and then they'll fucking Jacob Murphy will score 1. It'll be 6-2, is what we're saying.
Yeah, 6-2, like Isak hat-trick, easy.
I thought he was getting 5, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, sorry, 5. Yeah. And then, who else have they got? Paul Dummett's come back. Remember when someone asked us, I think it was one of the first ever streams we did, and somebody asked us about Paul Dummett. They said, is Paul Dummett a good option? And we both just laughed.
Didn't we have a Paul Dummett emoji?
Yeah, there's a Paul Dummett emoji. If any of the channel members are in the chat, they can whack the Paul Dummets in there.
Gotta have a bit of Paul Dummett.
You gotta love a bit of Paul Dummett. You really, really have. Someone said, would you bring in Palmer for a -8? Oof.
Oh gosh, I think you need more information than that, but I would say no.
Yeah, I'd have to probably see your team for me to kind of do that. So maybe come back on the deadline stream and I can probably help you out with that one. I have Son, who is the best replacement for him.
Well, if you've only got the Son money, then you're probably going to want someone like...
You could get Saka.
Is he not more expensive, Saka?
By I think 0.1 mil.
Well, if you can do that in one jump, then fair enough. I'd probably say, is Bruno slightly cheaper?
Yeah, Bruno's way cheaper.
Well, then I think he's probably
Bruno
if
for the next
got exactly what you've sold, he's probably the most sensible.
Yeah. Munoz and Konza, keep or sell. I think Konza's a pretty easy sell. There's some decent fixtures coming up for Villa. He plays most minutes. Not really worth probably a transfer with decent fixtures on the horizon. Munoz, on the other hand, get rid of that fraud. Palace are terrible.
Yeah, they're dog dirt, aren't they?
They are dog dirt. Somebody said Luca Digne as an option. Good stats and good fixtures coming up. Obviously did quite well over the international break with France. My concern is always Luca Digne is the biggest troll in FPL. He will get benched. He will get taken off at half-time. And Matteson is waiting. They've got 2 Champions League games thrown in there as well. Are they still in the Carabao Cup as well, Villa? Or did they go out?
Don't think so.
So they're going to have 2 midweekers.
Yeah, they lost to Palace, didn't they?
There we go then. But I guarantee Matteson is going to see some Premier League minutes with
he's been benched for way too long considering how much they spent on him.
Yeah, I think maybe either he plays the Champions League games or he is going to come on at some point. So I think maybe I'd probably keep away from that one. Somebody said Saka or Bruno. I think I would prefer Bruno for the next two. That'd be the way I'd probably lean on.
Well, if you want to save on transfers, then just go right into the deep end with Saka and hold him for the next 10 games.
Yeah. Thoughts on McNeil to Pedro Neto? Not for me.
No, me neither.
If
Everton are going to win games, it's probably going to come from McNeil.
Yeah, Dwight McNeil will probably be involved in it. The -8 includes for Palmer Gvardiol to Canate, Johnson to Palmer, and Mbeumo to Semenyo. I don't think that's worth a -8 for me.
No, I think Gvardiol, Johnson, and Mbeumo can all put in a decent 90-minute performance with a return of some sort.
Yeah.
And that's what you've got to consider, isn't it? Like, if neither of those three players were going to get any kind of return, then fair enough. I understand why you're that desperate, but I think Gvardiol, Johnson, and Mbeumo, you can hold off 3 weeks and get rid of them.
Yeah, 100%. Luke the Lucky as well has also said he wouldn't do that. And Mbeumo's probably got another 2 game weeks within the side. And then it's Jared Bowen season, because there's some beautiful fixtures coming up for West Ham over the festive period. And you know I've got a soft spot for him.
Gotta hope that Lopetegui's gone then.
Yeah, we really, really have to hope that Lopetegui's gone. Maybe get Moyes back in and we're cooking then. That's the dream.
That is the dream.
Moyes back in, Bowen's back to cooking. It's just beautiful. That's going to be the plan for me personally. Right, any final remarks from you, Jake, before we wrap up?
No, all good. Looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Hopefully, me and Jake can find some time next week if he's not working away or, busy.
I've got a nice little holiday.
Oh, he's got a nice little holiday, so we'll definitely have to chuck one in there.
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there for sure.
Oh, lovely stuff. Like I said, there will be videos out. I'll do my team selection video tomorrow. That'll have all the betting data and 11FI data as well. That'll all come out tomorrow evening. There'll probably be a stream on Friday. Then, like I said, there will be the deadline stream as always from probably around 8 o'clock in the morning, where we'll be doing team reviews on Saturday. There we go. Right. We'll see you in a few weeks, maybe? No, we'll see you next week. We'll definitely get one in next week. We'll get one in. Bed shitter of the week will be back. Of course, we'll have all the other good stuff as well. But yeah, we'll see you very shortly, guys.
Yep. See you soon.
Bye.